Alpha 2 was, again, it was the first game of not my first Street Fighter game, because I obviously knew about Street Fighter 2 and I did play with it. It was just so different than anything that I was like used to playing. But when the Alpha games came out, man, and that, you know, you first saw that art style and everything else, you were like, wait a minute, what happened to Street Fighter? And granted, when I was younger, it felt like time was moving so slowly but quickly at the same time, because, you know, I was born in 93. And by that time, you know, Street Fighter, I was a baby. So by the time I really had a conscience and really knew what was kind of happening around me, it wasn't until like Alpha 2, like the Alpha games came out. And I played a little bit of Alpha 2 here and there. My brothers loved Street Fighter Alpha 2. And yeah, I've always kind of stuck with the Shotos in that game. I've always stuck with, you know, Ryu, Ken. I played a little Sagat. But it was always Akuma, man. I always thought he was just so different. He just kind of looked like a demon to me at the same time. And he was just such a unique character as far as like all the lore that was kind of wrapped around him. And obviously a lot of people know that now, like in previous Street Fighter games, he was a secret character, and he was very much a character that you either had to know how to get the code from someone. And I'd imagine around that time in the arcade, because brutally speaking, I didn't grow up in the arcade era. I did not grow up like not really, like not when like you would go to an arcade. It was specifically a location for an arcade. Again, my arcades were laundromats, right? There was this one laundromat I remember growing up in where there was like Tekken and Street Fighter and they had like cabinets in the back too, where like they would like switch it up every other like season. It felt like that. Like even some weird ones like Tekken Tag 1 was in there, and like Street Fighter EX2 was in there for some reason. It was a really weird, like I remember growing up vividly playing like Street Fighter EX2 on a cabinet. It was so different from anything I've seen like from Street Fighter. So yeah, man, for me, when I finally, you know, would hang out with my brothers whenever I had those opportunities, whenever they like tolerated me, because, you know, these are teenagers growing up in the 90s. They're too, you know, I grew up in the hood, man. So, you know, they're trying to like, you know, try to be the cool kids on the block and stuff like that. They don't want to be seen with their little brother who doesn't know any better and stuff like that. But yeah, man, I just remember Alpha 2 was kind of the beginning of like, oh yeah, I noticed Street Fighter, and it's a really cool game, and I really click with it. But it wasn't until the next game we're gonna get into where my love for Street Fighter, like, really, this is where it came from. It went from I like Street Fighter to I love Street Fighter. And compared to Alpha 2, this game is not as notable in my opinion. There's some people who are like, which one is better, Alpha 2 or Alpha 3? Some people say like, or maybe Alpha 1, but to me, these are the two, right? As far as the Alpha games, these are the two.
Street Fighter Alpha 3.
This was it, man. Oh my god, the music. This is the one, man. Street Fighter Alpha 3 was so different. It's still fundamentally like the core of Street Fighter 2. It just added more stuff. I meant like personality wise, it was different because it had different music from Alpha 1 and Alpha 2. Completely new music. Like all the characters had completely different OST. And it's honestly some of my favorites in the series. Yeah, several things set Alpha series apart, especially the presentation, menus, music, commentator, art style. Oh yeah, man. But this is my point. Like, there were so many things that were so different about this game that I really loved. You know, like, don't get me wrong, the music from the Alpha 2 games are iconic, right? Absolutely iconic. They're basically just like great remix versions of the original. This game was just so different, man. It was so different. And I remember just playing a whole bunch of Akuma at the time, man. Just like feeling like super excited about it. By the way, do I have my... Yeah, put it in. And here it is, man. And just like the previous game, most of the characters we saw in Alpha 2 were playable. And obviously, there was pretty much, yeah, everyone is here, man. Everyone from so far the Alpha games are here for the most part, you know. And what was different about Alpha 3 is that it had all of these crazy styles, you know? We're going to go with standard for now. And we're going to do turbo. Akuma, the supreme master of the fist. This lone warrior is a wanderer, shrouded with evil intent. He searches for challengers with enough potential to kill. España! Damn, Vega. Here we go. I said, man, presentation-wise, it was so different. One of the best announcers ever. Oh my god, the computer. Get out of here. Ow, man. Come on. Get out of here. Missiles. Oh, wow. He actually does all three of them now because if you use all your punches, it uses all the bar. God damn it. Oh, my God. Vega, please. Jesus Christ. There we go. Wow. He doesn't want to die, chat. He did not want to die. He did not want to die. Yeah, Vega's really, he's pretty quiet in this game. Shoryuken! Oh! Kia! Get out of here! All right. Jew, win! There we go. Fade to nothingness, your weakness disgusts me. The Alpha series was a big one for me personally. It's where I grew playing the most Street Fighter, playing a little bit of Alpha 2 and kind of seeing like how cool of a game that was, but still not inherently locked into it because I was such a Mortal Kombat fan at the time. I really enjoyed games like UMK3. I was still more into like the gore and stuff like that, but I always thought Street Fighter looked really cool. It wasn't until Alpha 3 where I remember I had it. I didn't have it, but my brother had it on the PlayStation 1. It was the PS1 port of Alpha 3, and I remember just playing that thing for so long, doing World Tour with so many different characters and stuff like that. I still remember the day I learned how to do the Raging Demon, because as a kid, it was such a difficult thing to do. This like crazy input for this crazy move, but once you landed it and you landed it consistently, it was like. It was honestly one of the best feelings ever. Holy shit. Zosh! And I just remember feeling that way. Playing Alpha 3, and obviously as I've gotten older and stuff, I've learned to appreciate these games significantly more, man. And honestly, after going back, man, I still like Alpha 3 more than Alpha 2. I think those are still like the two. I know a lot of people put Alpha 2 probably a little bit higher because it's a more definitive version. It doesn't have a lot of crazy stuff like Alpha 3 has. Alpha 3 is just like, hey man, here's all the stuff that we've made up to this point. Have fun. There we go. Get out of here, Karen! Yeah, man, obviously, it was so much fun playing it tonight. We got to do dramatic battle, reverse dramatic battle, arcade mode, which I learned that the arcade ladder is still just as bad as it ever was. For sure. Yeah, he input literally anytime I touched the button, he'd press a button that was plus on it. That was insane. And that was just on like 4-star difficulty. We didn't even bump it all the way up. It was great, man. And Akuma's such a fun character to play. He plays a little bit differently, obviously, you know, as we're going to continue the Akuma Celebration, and we're going to start to see that he has more and more skills as he's added throughout games and stuff like that. There's definitely some games where he kind of keeps the same things, but, you know, as we kind of dig a little bit further, he definitely starts evolving a little bit more as a character, and things like that. And I think the next game, chat, on Monday, we're gonna explore Capcom versus SNK 2, because that, I remember playing a whole bunch of CVS 2, man, when we had a Dreamcast in the house, and I just remember trying to unlock Shin Akuma, playing as Shin Akuma, and just learning all his cool stuff. I remember just how much fun that was. So we're gonna check that out, and we're also gonna check out Street Fighter 4 as well. Street Fighter 4 was the game that kind of brought me back into Street Fighter, because I remember for a while Street Fighter got kind of dry, and I just remember everyone being so excited for Street Fighter 4. But I'm gonna save more on